camera almost dropped. Hello! Oh my gosh, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. Thank you so much for joining me today for this very special vlog, because today it is the first day of our Dark Academics birthday readathon. If you're not aware, I am the co-host of this book club called The Dark Academics alongside some of my favorite people. I adore all of those girls so much and we read a lot of books together. We recently actually decided to be a bi-monthly book club just because it is easier for us to balance all of our schedules while still having time to read all the books and discuss them with you. Usually we read books like classics or gothic fiction, or just books that in general have a more darker tone to them. We all have that in common. We appreciate books that question our own existence or that makes us think about everything in life, really. So we decided to create this book club almost a year ago, which seems insane because time flies so quickly, and because of that we of course decided to celebrate with all of you, hence why this readathon exists. We have a lot of prompts, and if you decided to join us, thank you so much. I truly hope you had the best time. By the time you're watching this vlog, the readathon is already over, so I really hope, in case you joined us, that you had a wonderful, fun, joyful time. And I also wanted to say, of course, a big thank you to, first of all of my beautiful co-hosts. They are, again, some of my favorite people. They are some of my closest friends from booktube. I can only wish for the day where we finally meet and I get to hug them and cry a lot because it will be amazing. It will be one of the best days of my life, I'm sure. So a big thank you to them for being in my life, for being my friends, for being in this journey with me. It has been incredible. But also a huge shout out to every single one of you who has been supporting us. It doesn't matter if you joined us a week ago, yesterday, or a year ago. This community, this book club, wouldn't have been possible without your support, without your love, and it has been absolutely incredible. So many people have joined us. You all are always so enthusiastic about our discussions and live shows and events like this one. So for that I want to say a big thank you, and I'm sending you all such a massive hug. You have no idea of how much this book club means to me, how much those girls, but also all of you, mean to me, how much you've helped me, especially during last year, of course, but this one as well. And I really hope we stick around for many more years to come. It is definitely one of my favorite things that I do nowadays. So yes, thank you so much to everyone who's joined us. I really hope you're enjoying your time here, and if you are new to my channel, of course, welcome. I'm very happy to have you, of course, and I really hope you enjoy this vlog, which will be dedicated to reading as many books as possible from the ones that I do have planned for this readathon. I might change a few of my plans because actually this week will be much busier than I anticipated when we planned everything, because I will be having all of my final exams and assignments for school. If you don't know, I am studying classical music and currently I am in the final week of everything. Basically, I need to finish all of my subjects pretty much, and it will be a little stressful, but I'm ready, I'm excited, and I think this readathon will also be a good distraction for me as well. Of course, it will be lovely. We will have 2 live shows, which will be so much fun. I cannot wait, seriously. So it will be a good way to celebrate this beautiful book club, all of these beautiful people, and I cannot wait. I'm very excited. Even if I end up not reading as much as I would like to, that's okay. What matters is that we are all in this together and it will be a fantastic journey. So once again, thank you all so much for everything. But before I get into my reading plans for the readathon and everything, I also wanted to share with you these beautiful books. Most of them are late birthday gifts, which I am incredibly thankful for, and I thought I would share them with you, of course. The first one is actually the book that I recently finished, so I thought why not give you a reading update, and that's The Children of Urine by J.R. Tolkien. This is actually part of another readathon that I am a co-host of, along with Lucy and Kira, who are of course also co-hosts of the Dark Academics. But currently we are also reading some Tolkien books for the Fellowship of the Read Along, and this was our April pick actually. So I need to catch up and read our May pick as well, which is Beren and Luthien. I'm very excited for that one. I think it will break my heart, absolutely, but I'm so ready for it. But this one, anyhow, this story was already slightly familiar to me because it is also present in both the Silmarillion and also the Unfinished Tales. This is actually part of the 3 tales that Tolkien wrote, which were The Children of Urine, Beren and Luthien, and also The Fall of Gondolin. Those are the 3 tales that he completed, I believe. And in the Silmarillion and the Unfinished Tales we did have some information about it. We read some snippets of the story and also some annotations by Christopher Tolkien. But here we have the complete tale, and it is so sad. It is a little hard for me to explain to you what it is about in case you are not familiar with the Middle-earth galore, let's say, in case you are not familiar with the creatures and everything. So that will all be explained a lot better during our live show, which will be happening, I believe, in the beginning of June. So I will not go into much detail here. I just thought I would let you know that I really enjoyed this book. I really love the way that Tolkien takes some of these themes and explores them, such as pride and this idea of what a hero should be, and also what that means for the gender roles, because there is a character here who's one of my favorites actually. She is very interesting. She's called Morwen. Morwen? I never know if I'm saying the names correctly. Yes, Morwen. And she almost takes the role of what it is typically associated to what it is like to be a man. She's the one who takes a much more active part during the war, and also the way she deals with her grief as well. It is very distant. She's almost afraid of showing her emotions, and instead of grieving, it's like she focuses on revenge much more. And that's a very manly idea, isn't it? The fact that men usually are almost forced to hide their feelings and not grieve for their losses, for instance. But here it is Morwen who takes up that role. I just thought I would let you know that I recently finished this one and really enjoyed it. Of course, I ended up giving it 4 stars, I believe. I'm still gathering all of my thoughts for our live show, which will be happening in the beginning of June, I believe. So that's the last book I finished. It doesn't count for the readathon, but I did want to mention it just in case you are also a Tolkien fan, because recently I've become so attached to his works. For the readathon we have already read The Adventures of Tom Bombadil, The Silmarillion, and also The Unfinished Tales, and now this one, and next we have Beren and Luthien and The Fall of Gondolin, and then finally The Nature of Middle-earth, which is, wow, I cannot wait. So that's the last book that I finished. But as for the other books, these are all late birthday gifts, and that's, wow. I don't know how to deal with this much kindness, honestly. It's unbelievable. But the first 2 books, which are part of the same work, this is Faust by Goethe, I think. This was a wonderful gift from one of my lovely patrons, Julia. Thank you so much. I am so excited to tackle this classic. I would actually try to read it for the readathon, but it is too large. If I were to read it, I would love to read both part 1 and part 2, which is this one. They are absolutely gorgeous. Look at them. The Oxford Classics are some of my favorites. They usually have amazing introductions of the text, explaining to you when it was written and the context and everything. And they also have some very useful annotations in them. This particular edition is translated by David Luke. I'm so intrigued by this work. It's one of those that intimidates me a little bit because I know you have to study it in Germany, I believe, at least from what Julia told me, and it just seems a little complicated to fully grasp, but nonetheless, it's one that I've been meaning to read for ages, and I am so excited that I now finally have it. So thank you so much, Julia. This is amazing. And then I also have 2 books that were gifted to me by my mom. She decided to give me 2 more books, and they are gorgeous. They actually match, and my outfit matches too, actually. That's that's funny. So we have Invisible Women by Caroline Criado Perez, I think. It says exposing data bias in a world designed for men. My mom has read this one already and she really liked it. It is an important look at how the world is mainly designed for men in ways that we usually do not notice, perhaps. So this should be a very interesting read. I am excited to see what I think about it. I have seen mixed reviews, I believe, but I'm intrigued to see what this author does with that concept. And then my mom also gifted me this gorgeous edition of Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This is part of the Alma Classics, which is a collection that my mother is kindly trying to get for me. Pretty much all of the books. If you saw my birthday book haul, you will have seen that she also gifted me The Professor by Charlotte Bronte and then The Dwarf or something. It's a collection of short stories by Charlotte Bronte. I can't remember the entire name now. Wow, that's awful. Wow. Okay, anyhow, it was a short collection by Charlotte Bronte, and then she also gifted me Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte, which I absolutely adored. I've also already read Jane Eyre before. I have to say I wasn't the biggest fan of the story, but maybe I also just didn't read it at the right time. It happens sometimes, right? I did love the writing style and I loved Jane as a protagonist, so I am absolutely willing to give this book a second chance, especially now that I have this beautiful edition. I mean, look at it. It also has some pictures and they are stunning. Here's Charlotte, and then we have her family right here. So we have her father, her mother, and then we have Emily and Anne, of course. Then we have the birthplace of the Bronte sisters, which is fascinating to me. I love looking at these pictures. And then some other important places for them, like schools mainly, I believe, and churches as well. This is just, I love looking at these old pictures so much. It gives the book so much life, you know what I mean? It's like I'm looking at these historical places filled with joy, laughter, but also sadness and heartbreak, and it is so poetic. I adore it. I adore it so much. So yes, I love these editions. Ooh, here's Charlotte's husband. There you go. I just think it is such a nice detail to these editions, so thank you so much, Mom, again. I love it, of course. And then finally, I was also gifted this this stunning edition of Charles Dickens' Christmas Stories, a classic collection for Yuletide. This has A Christmas Carol and a bunch of other Christmas stories written by Charles Dickens. This one will absolutely be read this December. You can count on that because I adore A Christmas Carol. I read it every December, so now all I have to do is read this stunning edition and be familiar with a lot of his Christmas stories as well. It is absolutely stunning. I love how it looks. It is quite simple, but it has such beautiful details in the chapter pages, for instance. Let me try and show you. It's so beautiful. I love it. This was a gift by Myra, who is a lovely viewer of my channel as well, and she apparently recently created a booktube channel, which I will of course be sure to link in the description of this video. Thank you so much, Myra, once again. This was incredibly generous of you, and I am just so happy with all of these gifts. with that said, the first book I'm reading for the readathon, I already started actually, but just a little bit, because I am listening to the audiobook of Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, which is one of Kira's favorites. So I'm reading this one for the extra credit prompt, for which you have to read one of the host's favorites. Now, ideally, I would love to read at least one book per host, so I would love to read at least one of their favorite books. I'm not sure if that will be possible, but for now I'm trying, and I did start with Conversations with Friends because I am listening to the audiobook, so it should be fairly easier to get through it. Now, in all honesty, I love how much Kira and also Caroline love Sally Rooney's works. I wasn't a fan of Normal People at all, but I'm willing to give her another try, so we'll see how this one goes. I don't have any thoughts for now, not really, because I've only listened to like half an hour of the book, so I'm still not sure about who the characters are, nor the plot. From what I understand, I think it follows two friends who are both studying either journalism or something similar, and they meet up with this couple because the woman from that couple wants to interview Frances, who is one of the protagonists, because she sees a lot of potential in Frances, and so she wants to hire her. Maybe, I'm not completely sure. I will get back to you on that once I read a bit more. And after that, I'm not sure exactly what I would like to start. I'm still in the middle of War and Peace. And when I say in the middle, I mean at the very beginning, because that book is so long and I'm only, I think, 100 pages in. I would like to count it for the English prompt, but I don't think that will be possible because I will for sure not finish it during this week. It will not be possible, unfortunately. So I might use Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke for that one, because I'm also trying to read that one for the extra credit, which would mean that would also count for English, because it is considered a classic, I guess. So we'll see what happens. For now, that's the only book I'm reading, but you will of course be updated as I read more books, as I have more thoughts. I'm so excited for this readathon. It will be amazing. Oh, and we of course also have the non-reading prompts. So I did already complete the creative writing prompts, because I did write a postcard to each one of the co-hosts, which will probably arrive in a month or so, but that's fine, it's done. And then we also have culinary studies, music, and another one. Which one is it? I can't remember. Wait. Film, of course, obviously. That's easy because I have a lot of movies to choose from, so that's my update for now. I'm gonna go and put all of these beautiful books on my bookshelves, and then hopefully maybe pick up another book and also study, because that also needs to be done. I'm going to put this beauty right next to all the other ones. I also have this candle that goes with it. I love it so much. It smells like Christmas pudding. It's delicious. Then this shelf, which is very fitting for this week, I got this little, how do you call this? Wooden block for our little emblem designed by the wonderful Caroline. And in here I have a few of my classics, so I'm gonna put Jane Eyre also here next to Agnes Grey. There you go. This will go to my non-fiction shelf, so right here, I think. Yes. And then I might have to reorganize my Oxford classics, because as you can see, I'm running out of space, so we'll just have to fit Faust in here. I'm gonna put them right here, I think. There you go. So here. Then let's see if this fits. I think it does. Just barely. Can you see that? Now let's explore a little bit. So I'm gonna show you a few options for my next read. I'm not sure if I should start with this one, which is my pick for geography. It is A Tall History of Sugar by Cordella Forbes, who is a Jamaican author. And I don't think I've ever read anything by a Jamaican author, so that's my option for geography. Then I also want to read, like I mentioned before, this beautiful book. It is Letters to a Young Poet by Rilke, which is one of Emma's favorites, so it would also count for the extra credit, but it would also count for the English prompt if I need it. But then also, I've been quite excited about this one. I believe it is this one, yes, which is Cassandra by Krista Wolf. It is a retelling of the Trojan War, I believe, one of Lucy's favorites, and it would also count for the history prompt because it is about mythology. So, decisions. I'm gonna put all of these together because I do want to read all of them eventually, so maybe I'm gonna stare at them a little bit to try and decide. I'm not sure. I'm so excited about all of them, but maybe I'm gonna start with this one. Oh my gosh. It is also the longest one, I believe. It's also the longest one, so I don't know if I would have the time to finish it. I don't think I'm ready to read this one yet, because I know it is quite emotional. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Okay, why is this so hard? Maybe Cassandra. I don't know. It's not long at all. It's not even 200 pages long, which I didn't know. So that's appealing. Maybe I'll go with this one first, but hopefully I will get to all of these. I also have some more options, of course, for the rest of the prompts, and then I would also love to read one of Caroline's favorites, which is Upstream by Mary Oliver, but I'm still waiting for that one to arrive. So I think I'm gonna go with Cassandra by Krista Wolf. I have been meaning to read it anyway ever since Lucy mentioned it. It is a fierce and feverish poetry that engages with the ancient stories while also charting its own past, filled with passionate and startling insight into human nature, so says Madeline Miller. But the synopsis says, Cassandra, daughter of the king of Troy, is endowed with the gift of prophecy but fated never to be believed. After 10 years of terrible war, Troy has fallen to the Greek army, and Cassandra is now a prisoner. Shackled outside the gates of a foreign fortress, through memories of her childhood and reflections on the long years of conflict, Cassandra pieces together the fall of her city. From a woman living in an age of heroes, here is the untold personal story overshadowed by the battlefield triumphs of Achilles and Hector. This stunning reimagining of the Trojan War is a rich and vivid portrayal of the great tragedy that continues to echo throughout history. It sounds amazing. It is Wednesday today, which means we will be having our first live show to celebrate the Dark Academic's birthday. I am so excited. We will be answering all of your questions and also attempt to do some reading sprints. I don't know exactly how that will go because we can get quite chatty, so I think it will be mainly dedicated to talking about everything and answering all of your questions, but we will also try to read a little bit. But anyhow, I am so excited. It will be on my channel, and of course by the time you're watching this vlog it has already happened, so if you did join us, thank you so much. I really cannot wait, especially because it will be a very busy day for me. I have a lot to study and I also have some work during the afternoon, but right after that I am coming home and relax and have a drink and celebrate with all of you. It will be wonderful. Speaking of the readathon, of course, I wanted to give you a little update. There's not much to update you on because, like I said, I have been quite busy, but I am almost done with 2 books. The first one being Cassandra by Krista Wolf, which is of course one of Lucy's favorites, so this would count for the extra credit prompt, but I think I might use it for the history prompt because it does have some mythology elements, of course, and I don't think I will be able to fit any more books for that, so I'm counting this one for history. Really liking it so far. I have about 50 pages left or something. Yes, so I will let you know once I finish it and share all of my thoughts with you, of course, but it is very good. And the other one, I have 3 hours left of the audiobook of Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I do have some conflicted feelings, which was expected, but I need to say I am enjoying it more than normal people. In terms of rating, I don't know exactly what that means. I think it will be maybe a 3-star for me, which is quite solid. But the thing for me with Sally Rooney's books is that I always like the idea more than the execution. So I don't know, we'll see how that goes. Again, I'm almost done with it, so I will of course let you know everything that I thought about it. But so far it is okay, I guess. It's not really the type of story or writing for me, but anyhow, I'm about to finish it soon and I am counting that one for the extra credit prompt. And if I manage to finish Cassandra before the live show, then I will try and start another book during the reading sprints, which will probably be The Pianist, I think, because it is what inspired the movie with the same name, which I love, and I have been meaning to read that book for so long, so I think that's the one I'm going to be starting. But I also just got the audiobook for A Tall History of Sugar, which is very exciting because I get to read it while I'm doing other chores and on my commute and everything, so hopefully this one will also be started very soon. I cannot wait. I never heard anything about this one, but it just sounds so promising, so I'm hoping the audiobook will help me get through it a little faster in time for the readathon, of course. Those are my reading updates. Probably my culinary studies and film prompts will be completed during the weekend, where I will be hopefully a little more free. We'll see, it depends on how much work I will have to do, but I think I can manage to bake something. I'm still not sure about what. I always end up baking either a carrot cake or, you know what, there's no or, it's always a carrot cake because it is one of my favorites. So maybe that, I don't know, I might attempt some cookies maybe, or brownies. I don't know, I'm still not sure. And as for the film, I would like to watch a movie that I've never watched before, so there's of course a wide selection of that. I still don't have any ideas really, but we'll see. I also, during my break from classes, I had some time to go to a bookstore, so of course I bought some books, 2 to be more precise. One of them I've heard incredible things about and it had a huge discount on it, and it also looks beautiful, so I have been meaning to try it, even though it is from a genre that I don't usually read. I have been meaning to pick up a few more books from this genre because I just need some uplifting, light easy to read stories, I guess. So I decided to pick up this one. This is Felix Ever After by Kasim Calendar. All I know about this one is that it follows a black, queer and transgender, I believe, boy who still has to find his one true love and his happily ever after, but he finds some struggles on the way because of his identity, mainly because a lot of people seem to discriminate him. So it is really probably a coming of age story, I would say, and truly following this character's journey. I am quite excited to read this one. It is a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but it sounds amazing. I've heard so many rave reviews, and I also wanted to show you this beautiful detail because it has sprayed edges and it has flowers. It is absolutely gorgeous. Can you see that? I just love the color palette. It seems so happy and cheerful. So that's the first one I got. And then the other one, it's equally beautiful. I immediately fell in love. It is a bit of a different book, but I've actually been meaning to collect a lot of books from this editor because they are all amazing and you get to learn about so many fascinating subjects, and one of them being flowers. Oh my gosh, how gorgeous is this? It is called The Book of Flowers, and it also has the text in English, Italian and Spanish. So I will get to learn a bit more about flowers, but also practice a little bit my Spanish and Italian, which are awful. And I'm planning to change that. So that's the one I got. It is absolutely stunning. I'm gonna try and show you a few images of it because it is just gorgeous. Each chapter has a little introduction, and then you get to see pictures of so many different species or types of flowers, and it just looks so pretty. I absolutely adore it. I love everything that has to do with nature and plants and flowers. I've always been meaning to learn a bit more about that, so this book just spoke to me and I immediately needed to have it. So that's The Book of Flowers. I am hoping to own a little selection of books, not so little actually. I would love to collect books such as this one that discuss nature, and others about history, and others about paintings and sculptures and museums and libraries around the world. It is all so fascinating to me. So those are the books that I got. I'm gonna put them on my bookshelves, of course. I am so happy about this, and right now I need to go. I'm gonna make some more tea actually, because you cannot work without a cup of tea. This one I actually got in Salem. It says Salem Witch Museum. Stop by for a spell. This was an amazing trip that I did with my family a few years ago, and I cannot wait to go back as soon as possible. Anyhow, I'm gonna make some more tea and then I have to work until our lovely live show. Hope you're having a lovely week as well.